Elrond, the master of the house, was their chief. He was as noble and as fair in face as an elf lord, as strong as a warrior, as wise as a wizard, as venerable as a king of dwarves, and as kind as summer. Mygovan and Melanin, Yoistin here, and I hope you all are doing well, wherever you are in Middle-earth. Today we are discussing why Elrond was so powerful, being yet another elf lord, one of many we meet in Middle-earth, yet still more powerful than many others. Sources for today's video will be in the description and cards. My friends, thank you all so much for joining me today. Let's begin our tale. First off, let's lay out what were Elrond's different manifestations of power. He had the gift of foresight, to see beyond the present moment towards the future. He sent forth the waters of the Bruinen River to flood the Nazgul, and he was an impeccable lore master with the ability to heal others, even from Morgul wounds. Much of the power that we consider in types of magic, sorcery, or otherwise in Middle-earth is drawn from a few key things: lineage, power of spirit, artifacts, and nature. To have affinity with each of these things manifests a great deal of power, and Elrond does exactly that. His lineage draws from primarily two types of elves, Noldor and Teleri, as he is the great-great-grandson of Fingolfin on his father's side and the great-great-grandson of Thingol on his mother's side, making him royalty when it comes to both kindreds of elves. In Middle-earth, one's lineage, especially from kings, raises their potential power level, especially when it comes to dooms, curses, prophecies, oaths, and the control of fate generally, as well as at times allowing for the gift of foresight, as it does for Elrond. Since he is such an important player in the events of Middle-earth, but also descends from a line of highly important and fate-determining elves, Elrond himself does have a manner of foresight that allows him to see glimpses of what is to come or what will be. Perhaps it is due to his lineage that Eru or Mandos maybe allows him a bit of further knowledge, more than what most have, which gives Elrond even more wisdom. What's more, he is a descendant of Amaya as well, Melian, who was married to Thingol, and surely that influenced his foresight, but also his healing capabilities as well. Many theorize that Melian's ancestry is also what gives the line of Elros, Elrond's brother, who was the first king of Númenor, their power as well, going all the way down to Aragorn. Some of the innate spiritual power and Melian's ability to use that power to defend her realm of Doriath definitely came to Elrond, who even manifested his power more aptly than most, sending forth the floodwaters out of Rivendell that Gandalf manipulated into the forms of horses. All of these individuals that are counted among Elrond's ancestors, Fingolfin, Thingol, Melian, Eärendil his father, Elwing his mother, were all blessed in their own distinct ways, so perhaps Elrond himself was also simply blessed by the Valar or Eru or something else. Elrond and Elros were raised for a time by the eldest and most powerful of the sons of Fëanor, Maegor and Maithros, and perhaps they learned great skill from them during that time after the Third Kinslaying when they were taken by the firebrand elven leaders. Being the sons of Fëanor and under the dooms and fates such as they were, perhaps some of that power spread to Elrond, having been such a young Noldo and Cinda that ultimately did escape the doom of the Noldor, unlike the sons of Fëanor, thanks in no small part to the actions of his mother and father in going to Valinor and pleading with the Valar. Or perhaps Elrond simply learned from Maegor and Maithros some of their skill, perhaps some of their power and magic as well, as though they were mentors. Speaking of mentors, Elrond was also the herald of High King Gil-galad, and being the mentee of the last High King of the Noldor surely had its perks in what Elrond likely learned and what power he consolidated. Of what Gil-galad directly taught him, we know close to nothing, and even if it did not affect Elrond mightily in the sense of magical powers, Elrond's abilities as an ambassador, counselor, peacemaker, and advisor were surely greatly increased, which in Middle-earth, as Gandalf proved many times, was quite a power in and of itself, though different than the power we are discussing today. Finally, and perhaps most importantly when it comes to this topic, Elrond bore the elven ring Vilya, the Ring of Air. Air, of course, was also the domain of Manwë, the Elder King of the West. While many artifacts in Middle-earth and their powers are obscure in the lore, including, of course, the Elven Rings of Power in some ways, they are a bit more straightforward in their domains, how their powers operate generally, and so forth. since they are all symbolic of the main three elements air, water, and earth/fire. Indeed, as a side note, fire and earth are similar domains in Tolkien's works. Surely Elrond could draw upon greater elemental and wind sorts of powers, which perhaps allowed him to accomplish greater healing as well as summon the flood of the Berinin. Again, it's certainly not all straightforward, to be sure, but we can be certain that is where Elrond got some of his power. To be honest, those are just about all of the reasons that I can find and think of that explain the power of Elrond. Tolkien's power scaling is actually very interesting in my mind because, more here than in other fiction, there's never a clear hierarchy or exact reasoning behind all of the types of magic, sorcery, but also power, will, or might. Many characters fuse all of those together, in fact, to become quite powerful. And it is quite so with Elrond Half-elven, descendant of many great and powerful characters, brother of the King of Númenor, wielder of Vilya, the Ring of Gil-galad, who was once his own mentor, and so on and so forth. And so, my friends, we come to the end of our tale on why was Elrond so powerful. From Elrond's power, we see that guidance and counsel, the wisdom to not seek more innate strength, are different and important kinds of power as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this tale. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button and share this with a friend. What are your thoughts on why Elrond was so powerful? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider getting some candles from our friends Mythologie Candles, or order some Whatever United Cutlery, Lord of the Rings swords, statues, or other replicas from Castle Kon, who does international shipping, and use the code WEST at checkout. And please check out our merch and Patreon. Also, please take a look at Z-Wood and their wood-carved maps and clocks, and use the code in the description for 15% off at checkout. Thanks to our Valor Tier patrons and YouTube members, Peter Shepard, John Hume, Maz Gibbs, Reese Jenkins, Arthur Merlin, Theodore, Moon Viper, Andrew Carlisle, and Zumi. Thank you all so much, it really means a lot. Please subscribe and hit that bell button to join the Men of the West and all of the Free Peoples today. And I'll see you all again next week with a video on prophecy and foresight in Middle-earth. My friends, thank you all so much for joining me on this adventure. Until the next one.